New York, a June morning, in the soaring glass headquarters of Skyline AeroTech. The atmosphere was wound tight like a violin string. Today was a fateful day. The whole world was waiting for the demonstration of the first AI hybrid electric aircraft engine, a technology promised to change the history of human aviation. Hundreds of international reporters, European investors, technical experts, all were present. The live broadcast stretched out to millions. But something unexpected happened. The $5 million engine refused to start. The renowned engineering team, Ivy League graduates, earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, were sweating bullets, fumbling in front of the machine's deadly silence. Button presses, emergency code sequences, all were useless. In that luxurious room, Richard Alden, the 45-year-old white CEO, with a sharp face and haughty eyes, slapped the table hard. He exploded in anger, his voice laced with scorn. "Is this the world's greatest engineering team? You call this the future of aviation? A heap of scrap, nothing more." Silence grew heavier. Investors exchanged anxious glances. Cameras swept across the puzzled faces. Then, at that moment, something no one expected happened. At the far end of the room, a black man in a faded blue maintenance uniform was quietly mopping the floor. Malik Johnson, the maintenance worker. Ignored by everyone, Richard saw him. A cold smile flickered, and in front of all the guests, before the live cameras, he'd taunted, "Hey, you there, if you, the janitor who only knows how to hold a mop, can fix this $5 million engine, I will make you chief engineer immediately. But if you fail, forget Skyline AeroTech. You will be fired, permanently." The audience froze. A few mocking laughs rang out. Hundreds of eyes turned to Malik, treating him like a joke in Richard's power play. But no one expected that moment of humiliation would open the door to a great reversal. Malik Johnson, 30 years old, tall and lean, hands hardened by grease. Beneath his simple maintenance uniform, he carried a blazing dream. When he was an aerospace engineering student in Georgia, Malik was considered a rare talent. His professor called him the golden boy of engines. Classmates admired his ability to analyze every mechanical detail with precision. He once nurtured a dream to become an aerospace engineer, to build modern aircraft that would carry humanity beyond the skies. But fate was cruel. In Malik's final year of college, his father, a former aerospace engineer working in a small repair shop in Atlanta, suddenly suffered a stroke. The family drowned in debt. To save his father and support the household, Malik was forced to drop out, walk away from the lecture halls. Since then, he did everything: loading crates, deliveries, freelance auto repair, until he landed a maintenance job at Skyline AeroTech, a company he once dreamed of joining as an engineer. His personnel file described him as a junior technician, but in reality, everyone called Malik by one name: the janitor. He cleaned floors, changed light bulbs, wiped the office windows. No one paid attention to the knowledge he had once studied, much less to the dream he had left behind. Meanwhile, the Ivy League engineers, with their $100,000 salaries, strode confidently in their stylish suits. They entered meeting rooms as architects of the future. And Malik, he quietly pushed his mop through corridors, lowering his head to avoid their contemptuous eyes. That contrast was like a blade. On one side, prestige, glory; on the other, sweat, grease, and oblivion. No one knew that the man who was being disdained carried within him a special talent, something even the elite engineering team had never possessed. Since he was small, Malik grew up with the echo of engines. His father, Mr. Johnson, once ran an old aircraft repair shop on the outskirts of Atlanta. Day after day, Malik sat beside him, listening to the faint vibrations, the clanks inside each propeller, inside each combustion chamber. "Listen, son," his father often said, "an engine is like a human being. It whispers when something is wrong. If you are willing to listen, it will tell you how to heal it." From that time onward, Malik honed a special ability. He could sense vibrations, distinguish the slightest off frequencies that ordinary ears would ignore. In college, his friends nicknamed him the Whisperer of Engines, but fate never gave him a chance to prove that skill on a big stage. Until today, when the $5 million AI engine lay silent before all those cameras. Malik stood still at the corner of the room, his eyes tracking every detail. He heard the irregularity, not in the software, not in the control system, but deep within the resonance of the combustion chamber. A misstep so small it seemed as though it did not exist, but he knew it was the cause. He intended to stay silent, because if he spoke, he would become a laughingstock. Who would trust a maintenance worker's voice? But then, when Richard Alden publicly insulted him, making him the target of ridicule before the whole room, Malik could bear it no more. He raised his head, his voice slow but firm. I believe the problem is not in the AI. It lies in the resonance between the combustion chamber and the control system. Suddenly the room was utterly silent, eyes wide, some in surprise, others in mockery. Reporters raised cameras. Investors leaned forward, curiosity stirring at the voice that had felt out of place. On Richard's face, a cruel smile appeared. He clapped slowly, his tone theatrical, as though preparing for a spectacle far more brutal. Oh, interesting. Then, let us see if this resonance you speak of can redeem all of Skyline AeroTech. Richard stepped up to the stage, his voice booming across the room. Malik Johnson, you have exactly 2 hours, in front of 300 Skyline employees, and millions watching live. If you succeed, you will be recognized. But if you fail, you will disappear from this industry forever. The countdown clock appeared on the giant screen. Every eye was on Malik, a maintenance worker standing alone in front of a massive machine, while the entire elite engineering team had already walked away in defeat. Malik was not afraid. He moved closer, listening intently to the clicking sounds of failed startups. To him, those sounds were familiar whispers. He closed his eyes, recalling the lessons from his father. Then he began to explain. This engine was manufactured in France, using the metric system, but the AI control software was programmed in the United States, using the imperial system. A discrepancy of just 0.002 millimeters, less than a hair's width, but enough to create unstable vibrations. After exactly 12 minutes of operation, the system shuts down to prevent damage. Everyone assumed it was the AI, but in reality, it is a resonance error. The murmur spread through the audience. Some furrowed their brows in disbelief. But in the front row, Dr. Sofia Hernandez, a renowned aerospace advisor, instinctively sat up straighter. Her eyes lit up as she listened to Malik's reasoning. You're saying, resonance? Sofia asked, her voice full of focus. Malik nodded. Yes, if we install a small resonance damper, bridging the AI and the mechanical system, it will synchronize the rhythm. Then the engine will run smoothly. Without hesitation, he rushed to the spare parts room, grabbing lightweight alloy pieces and assembling a temporary component, a small but intricate bridge. His hands trembled from pressure, but every move was precise and confident. Meanwhile, CEO Richard crossed his arms with a smug smile, glancing at the clock now and then like a man already certain of Malik's failure. The live stream exploded with thousands of comments. This guy is crazy. A janitor fixing an AI engine. But what if he's right? The countdown echoed with every tick. 1 hour, then 30 minutes, and finally, just 5 minutes left. Malik wiped the sweat from his brow, firmly locking the resonance damper into place. He took a deep breath, turned to face the now silent crowd. All right, he said, let's try it again. The tension hung like a wire pulled tight. The whole world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the press of that start button. The start button clicked, the massive engine shuddered, a deep, steady sound filled the hall. No more off rhythms, no more sudden shutdowns. The engine began to run smoothly. 1 minute passed, then 5, then 10. At the 12th minute, the very point where the failure always occurred, everyone held their breath. Richard leaned forward, ready to burst into laughter when it all fell apart. But it never did. The engine kept roaring, smooth and powerful, like a perfect symphony. The readings on the screen showed 98% efficiency, far exceeding the theoretical model. The room erupted. Photographers clicked away. Skyline employees, those who once called Malik, The janitor rose to their feet, clapping thunderously. On the live stream, tens of thousands of comments poured in. Unbelievable. He did it. The real hero. Dr. Sofia Hernandez stepped onto the stage, her voice echoing loud and clear. This solution is not only correct, it is brilliant. A flaw missed by an entire elite engineering team, and yet Malik Johnson discovered it and fixed it. I firmly declare, he deserves full recognition as an engineer. Investors jumped up, shaking hands. One stepped up to the camera and declared, "We are increasing our investment by 30%, on one clear condition. Malik Johnson must join the technical leadership team." The entire room exploded in cheers. Only Richard Alden sat frozen, his face pale, his reputation crushed live on national television, while Malik, once just the invisible janitor, now stood in the spotlight, receiving thunderous applause. In that moment, the balance of power had completely shifted. The story did not end there. A few months after that groundbreaking event, Skyline AeroTech officially announced the appointment of Malik Johnson as lead engineer of the Hybrid Engine Systems division. From someone once overlooked, he became a key figure leading the development of next-generation AI hybrid engines. The company changed too. Skyline implemented a new policy. Every idea, whether from an engineer, a technician, or a janitor, must be heard. They called it the Malik Principle. And Richard Alden, his reputation in ruins, the board of directors demoted him and required him to attend a diversity and equity management program, taught by none other than Dr. Sofia Hernandez. A bitter lesson for a man once arrogant enough to dismiss others. Malik never forgot where he came from. He frequently visited technical schools, sharing his story, encouraging young black students to chase their dreams. He would say, "Talent is not found in a suit or a title. It lives in the heart and perseverance of each person. Never let anyone define your worth." And now, it is your turn. If you have ever been underestimated and proved yourself, share your story in the comments. Who knows, your story could be the inspiration for the next video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because every story shared, every voice heard, has the power to light a path toward fairness and break down prejudice. Because every human being, no matter their skin color or job, has the power to create something extraordinary.